The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
To Zion, I was lost.
Shalom, shalom.
I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. Hear the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, Lord, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion.
Come on in, come on in. Hit the like button.
Can see that the apple of your eye included me, and through the tribulation, I know I must stand.
Come on
For
in.
a new heaven, a new earth, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees.
Hit the like button. Come on in. We have a great class for you. Come on.
Life on the line. I'm begging, please. Please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way.
Hit the like button.
To Zion. I feel the Spirit calling me, drawing me back home. It's happened with my family. I know it won't be long. One day you're gonna look for me, and I'll be gone home. Yeah, Israel is calling us back home.
Zion, come on.
To Zion, I'm on my knees. I lay down my life. I'm begging, please.
Lay down my life. Oh,
Please don't let me fall. Give me the strength.
give me the strength to stand.
Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way.
Going to Zion, brothers and sisters.
To Zion, I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please, please don't let me fall. Give me
Go into Zion. We're the elders of the Gathering of Christ Church here for your weekly Sabbath lesson. Shalom, brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. This is the Gathering of Christ Church. Blessings to the brothers and sisters. All praises be to the Most High. I thank the Most High in the name of Christ for giving us another opportunity to be before you. All praises be to the Almighty. AHAYAH is his name. Do us a favor, brothers and sisters, before jumping in, before settling in, as you file into the class, please hit the like button. Boy, do we have a lesson for you today. Please hit the like button. Okay? Elder Lawyer, if you can, I need you to grab also perilous times for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Put that down there also. Hit the like button. Boy, do we have a class for you. And of course, next week is the Feast of Trumpets. So I hope you all can they said the audio is a little muddy. Feast of Trumpets. Okay, y'all say the audio isn't clear? I want to make sure because we're wearing lapels. If the audio isn't clear, then I'll have to switch to another source. Okay. Is the audio okay or is it distorted? Everything is all right? I want to make sure. Okay. If it's clear, okay, all right. Okay, that's no problem. Okay. They say it sounds clear, so I'm going to stick with the majority. It's clear, okay? All right. I'm Elder Ricard of the Gathered of Christ Church here with our weekly broadcast. I want to say shalom to all of our brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay. Now, jumping right in, before we jump in, let's give you an update. Okay. Let's give you, all our brothers and sisters, a quick update. A quick update that we are going into week 4 of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. This coming Sunday, we'll be jumping into who is Edom. Okay. When one think of Edom, you think of, okay, we understand, according to the Jewish Encyclopedia, that Edom is Rome. But folks, Edom has infiltrated and is behind every religion within this earth. They're controlling all religions of the earth. They were able to make their way into controlling Christianity after the fall of Jerusalem. They went into the Middle East. They infiltrated Islam. Okay, they did. A long time ago. Islam has always been an Arab, Edomite, or white man religion. Notice that they are protecting in the United States Muslims over Christians. Muslims, they have anti-Muslim legislation on the book, but they'll never protect a Christian. Well, Esau infiltrated Islam a long time ago. Hindu, it doesn't matter. And folks, listen to me clearly. The Egyptology and Afrocentric ideology was also created by Esau as a means of what? As a means to take a flood and divide the children of Israel. To divide the children of God, Esau infiltrated every religion on earth, knowing God's people would be seeking the Almighty. So they say, well, okay, we'll just divert them by infiltrating and misdirecting the children of Israel by taking over all religions. Esau is over all religions. Esau is the modern day Nimrod. And I'm going to be going into that this coming Sunday. You don't want to miss it. Okay? Unfolding the seals of the apocalypse. Who is Edom? I'm also going to be tapping into this academy between this lesson and between Sunday's lesson and the Christianity lesson I have coming, the history of the Jesuits. The CIA, before it became the CIA, was the secret organization of the Jesuits. That and more, starting this Sunday. I hope you're there. Unfolding the seals of the apocalypse. Revelation. The final judgment of evil will be unfolded or taught within this lesson from the beginning to the end. The return of the diaspora, where we'll be going into the fact that the expulsions from Spain, Portugal, Europe were all black people, Israelites. There was never a time where there were Europeans expelled from Europe. That never existed. The judgment of modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Yes, we're going back to that Sodom and Gomorrah lesson. And that's exactly where we are. And the kingdom of God. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how Christ will take the power and what it will be like in the kingdom of heaven after the fall of all empires. That and more in this Hebrew and Bible Academy. Okay? Now, again, we're only, well, this week, Elder Lawyer, this is the week 4.
Yes, sir.
Week 4, which means we still have 2 months of lessons and teachings after this. We have 2 weeks of lessons even after this, okay? So 2 months, excuse me. So that means if you haven't enrolled already, here's your opportunity. Go to historytimes.org, enroll. We'll make sure you receive all 3 lessons. All 3 lessons from the prior weeks. You'll get that in your email. All the news that you've missed, and you definitely don't want to miss that news. Elder Lawyer's Hebrew, as well as the lessons you've missed. We'll make sure you receive those, and you'll have what? Your welcome packet to be able to click on to start week 4 Sunday morning. Okay? Sunday morning. So please be a part of this. It's quite inexpensive. It's the best learning you would ever experience while going into the Word when it comes to up-to-date news, all of that, the history, and guess what? We have what? We have the resources, the white papers, everything to back up what we teach in this church as the true doctrine. So you'll have it from what? Even a news secular view of what's really going on prophetically. And that's what's going on. Most people don't know how to quantify or to understand what's out there with so many things being thrown at them. We found a way to isolate or bring forth the understanding so that you can see everything so to not be confused. And that's what this news is about, as well as our lessons. Okay? So don't get caught up. Go to historytimes.org and be a part of the awakening. Okay? Be a part of the awakening. Okay? Now, jumping right into the lessons, historytimes.org. And again, I wanted to say this. I wanted to say this when it comes to the lessons. If you're busy Sundays, it's okay. Okay? We understand, brothers and sisters, that you work all week and probably Sunday is your only day off. Okay? All right? So, because of that, if you can't make it to the lessons, we still send you a link to review and see the lessons in their entirety, be it the Hebrew, be it the news and or the lesson. Brothers and sisters, you can view that any day of the week at your own leisure. While laying down at night, you want to pull it up and get some information out of it. Studying on your on during your study time during the week, where you've parsed out some time for yourself, well, you can go right into that link and get it any time of the week. So don't let you not being able to get there Sunday dissuade you, okay? Don't let that dissuade you. Now let's jump in to the class. Let's jump into the class. Jumping right in. Our lesson today, divided we fall. I'm going to quantify a lot for you and break down a lot for you today. And it's going to be leading into the academy lesson tomorrow. Now, let's go. Elder Lawyer, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, well, I know you can.
Yes, sir.
Let's start off with the Hebrew Credo.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahayanawa Ahaya Achad.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahayanawa Ahaya Achad.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Shalom, brothers and sisters. We welcome you to the Sabbath lesson. Let's dive in. Now we're running into what you would call election season. And I'm trying to give some people, brothers and sisters out there, the understanding of what's going on prophetically. While we're inundated with information to get spiritually engaged into the electoral process, and why the world, not just America, focuses on our people during every election season. When I say our people, the children of Israel. Well, let's quantify that. Let's go into that. On the screen. On the screen I have here. We're constantly inundated with these particular negatives or evils. We're inundated, even outside of the election year. You can expect all of what's on the screen to be pushed upon one particular people. And let's quantify it. Why? Why? Let's go through it. Let's go through each of these. Now, usually these are the left-leaning issues or scenarios. They point or aim towards piling. These are what piles on a particular people. They pile on these strictly for us. They pile these on to our people. What is it? LBGTQ, racism, migrants, abortion, divided families, homelessness, disease. Why? Why is it that any party we are associated with, it seems like they slant all the ills leading to what? Straight destruction against our people. Focus for a moment. I need y'all to think about this. If you are a black person in America whom God says is from Judah, according to the Bible, the world expects you to be aligned with all of this. And no one have ever asked, why are all these strictly concentrated to one side on one people? For example, if I say that our people need to be focused on when it comes to housing, financial upward mobility, opportunity, they'll say, well, okay, we don't mind throwing you anything, but you must align yourself with LBGTQ. We'll admit there's racism. Now, why will they admit it's racism? Why would they admit that our people exhibit racism? Because if they bring out this point, that's a divisive tool that divides all people. Satan works in the midst of division, heresy. So this is why racism will always be a hot button talking point for us. And I'm going to talk about these separately in this particular lesson. Racism is a tool from the devil. You can't find racism in the Bible. It's a Trojan horse. It's a Trojan horse. It's usually used as a tool to destroy us. LGBTQ, they put on us and say, well, listen, we'll agree with your racism if you'll support LGBTQ. We'll admit you're being ostracized and racially profiled, and legislation is racially slanted against you, if you will agree to migrants coming in to replace you. We'll agree with your racism, and because of the deprivation that comes through racism, the financial deprivation, we'll make sure you're able to get rid of your children simply because you can't afford it. Simply because you can't afford it. So we're going to make it, we're not going to fix your issue. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Got some tea here. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, since we're exhibiting racism against you, since LGBTQ and all that, we got all that, right? We'll help you along. LGBTQ, you're going to have less children. You're exhibiting racism. I'm not going to give you reparations or help you, But since we know how much children cost, abortion is what's needed. Right? To take away, to unburden you with the task of having family. Divided families will incentivize one side, set up family courts that can be used as a tool to utterly decimate one side of the family, knowing that the children suffers above all. And eventually that leads to what? Homelessness. See? Homelessness. Have to move around because what? There is no study foundation for upward mobility or being able to invest, having a home for our children to grow up in like it once was decades ago. Children are used to being moved around like pawns in the game, causing mental instability. And above all, the greatest fear factor above all, disease. And I put disease last because this can be used as a political tool of fear that leads to death. All of this, folks, are tools for division. Now, here's the question. Here's the question. Why are all these ills slanted against or for one side? I'm putting it out there. So if you can get a people under the spirit of delusion, confusion, and then on top of that, place these same people under the spirit of groupthink. This way you'll have them all in one particular mind space under a party to be utterly destroyed. That means all the enemies will align themselves within that particular party. And the safe haven is the other side. So what the enemy has done was made sure we look at the world from a simplified viewpoint as children, like children, without understanding the complexities of the world politically and or prophetically. By doing so, listen to me clearly, they got us all in one place to be utterly decimated. LGBTQ is right with us. That was strategic. Racism is right with us. That's strategic. Migrants have been piled on us. Abortion is disproportionately affecting us. Not being able to have families is slanted towards destroying us. Homelessness, disease, all of that. Why? Well, in Second Baruch, it states, elder lawyer, if you will.
Yes, sir.
In Second Baruch, I love going here to set the table, to set the foundation on what we'll be talking about. You notice I keep going back to Second Baruch because this dives into all the confusion Christ said the world would be experiencing right before his return. Right before his return. Elder Lawyer, if you will, when he says he answered me,
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. 2 Baruch 27:1.
yes.
And he answered and said unto me, into 12 parts is that time divided.
In 12 parts is that time divided. The time leading to the consummation, the coming of our Lord. Read.
And each one of them is reserved for that which is appointed for it.
Come on.
Verse 2. In the first part there shall be the beginning of commotions.
The beginning of commotions.
And in the second part there shall be the slayings of the great ones.
In the second part, these are actually prophecies we are to look for that would happen disproportionately amongst the children of Israel. Jacob's trouble, the slaying of the great ones, to hear about our people dying in mass number all over the earth. Come on.
And in the third part, the fall of many by death.
The fall of many by death. Pandemic, anyone? Read.
And in the fourth part, the sending of the sword.
Seeking to send what? People to destroy or kill God's people. Read.
Verse 6. And in the fifth part, famine.
Famine. Now let's talk about famine real quick. Come on.
And the withholding of rain.
And the withholding of rain. Now listen to this. Famine. If you're president, if you think it's her, it has nothing to do with Kamala. She's reading off a teleprompter. But they're telling you what's next. They're claiming that supermarkets and stuff are going to be legislated on what? Keeping prices at a certain, keeping products at a certain price. Well, if you do so, supermarkets are going to have to close down. Because without a free and open market, they cannot compete. And by doing so, lines around the corner, food lines like there were in Venezuela, and they know it. There is no price gouging. They're lying. They're setting the table for you to receive bread lines by pricing supermarkets out of business. Supermarkets weren't set up, brothers and sisters, to make profits. They only make pennies on the dollar. But if those who the vendors, if they cannot make money off of their products, they will no longer, why should they stock the shelves? Now, I'm going to focus on this for 1 second. Usually we go into these things during the news, right? During the academy. Let me make it clear how it works. In a free and open market, if you give money to Ukraine and no telling where that money's going, to Israel, fund all these different wars, go up on gas prices. Every time you spend, you must print. And the more money you print, the less the dollars people own are worth. It's quite that simple. Inflation. That's why prices are going up. No one is price gouging. They're causing what? Artificial scarcity. And while they're doing that, look how many years ago we've been talking about during the pandemic when everyone was afraid to go outside or purchase anything. We started hearing about property, farms in the thousands of acres getting purchased by Bill Gates. Think about this. So here it is. What will happen when they begin a scarcity, and at the same time, a lot of farmland aren't going to be able to produce at the level it once did? It will lead into a real famine. So what they're not telling you is they claim it's about, well, it's about price gouging. They're just going up on price. They're lying. And they'll go back to, I'm going to tell you, right after the pandemic, look at the prices on everything right after the pandemic. But what you're not saying is all the money you sent to the Asians, all the money you sent to Israel, to Ukraine, right out of the pandemic, everything had to go up. A truck carries products. If it costs more fuel for the truck to carry the products, the cost transfers to the customer. If gas is high, the products must go higher. But what they're preparing people to, they are slowly segueing people into accepting less products. And that's why the Bible talks about a famine. And on the top of that, they'll be destroying all the land that would normally produce for billions of people in the Western world. So don't go for the lie off of the teleprompters, folks. They're preparing people for a world, America in specific, for a world, for a society without food. See, I have to break it down to its minute level so that brothers and sisters have to understand or be able to what? Translate the rhetoric that they're spewing from the podiums. So understand when they say people are price gouging, what they're doing is they're dividing. They're making you think that the companies are taking advantage of the people, absolving themselves from all the chaos they have created. There is no price gouging in a free and open market. There's no such thing. Prices are actually stabilized whether the prices go down or go up based on the market, based on the cost of being able to produce a product. Okay? So they're preparing us for a famine. They're telling us, so they already have the built-in excuse. The built-in excuse is already out there now. Well, we must regulate all of the supermarkets based on the fact that people are price gouging. They're lying, folks. Their plan is to regulate all the supermarkets for rationing in the communities. For the last 4 years, they've been closing down Walmarts, closing down this, and they claim it's because of crime. Oh, the crime that have accelerated since you let criminals over right next to our people, that crime. See, they needed the crime so that they can go to the next level of destroying Jacob. And the fifth part, the Most High showed us years ago in Baruch that these things would be happening, that this would be going down as you see. Read.
Verse 7. And in the sixth part, earthquakes and terrors.
Earthquakes and terrors. Years ago, they started fracking. Come to find out the same areas that they were fracking underground, claiming it was for natural gas, or where earthquakes are happening in areas, even on the East Coast, where there was never an earthquake in the last 100, 200 years. Then it says terrorists. We're going to start hearing about terrorism. How many people came over the borders now? They said they just found, Homeland Security claimed that they just found over almost 200 people that was on the terrorist watch list who were let into the United States, prepping Americans to brace themselves for things getting blown up in your respective areas. Everything God said would happen is going down. What does that mean for us? Stick with me here. This is what this, brothers and sisters, this attack on masculinity is. Because the only opposition against cowards are real men. So they had to make out being a regular man as something evil or wrong. You don't have any emotional intelligence. I'm a man. I don't know where emotional intelligence. I can't find that nowhere in the Bible. You should be a gentle man. See? So the whole deal is they don't want real men because real men are the only things or the only people in earth who can oppose what's happening. This beat down on men, the softening of men. Well, this is how you prepare a people to be rolled over. Okay? No, masculinity is an necessity in these times. While they're softening men in America, the Middle East, Russia, China are preparing for war and preparing their young men to fight as men. The softening of men is actually a war tactic against a people they are prepping to actually get decimated. The first thing they had to do was cause a divide between a man and woman so that there'll be no one or to take away a man's fortitude and spirit, his innate spirit to protect a family. That's not a man anyone want to come against. But if you take family away and no care for the family, you take away what? The resiliency, the resilient spirit to fight to the death a man usually has with a wife and children. And guess what? We're going to be talking about that. Let me tell you, week 7, I'm going into that. This is all strategic. A divide and conquer strategy. And guess what, folks? They have succeeded their plan. They have succeeded. They wanted the man separated only to put the woman in debt and say, anything we give you, now you owe the state. Work till you die. That was the plan. And the sister's looking around saying, well, me having a disagreement with my man and my baby's father or my ex-husband, this wasn't my long-term plan. This wasn't the outcome I was looking for. They said, we don't care. Now that there's no man around, guess what? Everything we give you is owed to the state. Work till you die. That was their plan. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. Let's go back, Elder Lawyer, to where we were, because I want to get to confusion.
Yes, sir. Verse 9.
Verse 9.
And in the 8th part, a multitude of specters and the attacks of the Shadim.
Specters and the attacks of the Shadim are what? Demonic attacks against those who believe in the Most High and Christ. Creating what? Functional crazy people to become societal soldiers against the righteous. and attacks, demonic attacks on the people. And this is what we have. Now let me show you how they were able to intellectually craft this particular part within society. I'm going to show you in a moment. Read.
Verse 10. And in the ninth part, the fall of fire.
The fall of fire. Yeah. Palestine, anyone? Hawaii, anyone? California, wildfires, anyone? Canada's wildfires, anyone? Why? They want to take out certain populations to move people in a controlled, condensed area to be controlled. And there's no better way to do that than to take certain areas out. And automatically, a natural migration happens where the majority of the people are being herded into one controlled area, the cities. And this is where all your closed Walmarts and old department stores that are closed. You notice the buildings and constructs are still there. No new businesses are going up where Walmart closed. Y'all notice that? Because that's for the next phase of things. So the falling of fire is a way in which they'll be able to herd people into what? Strategic areas of control. Read.
Verse 10. And in the ninth part, the fall of fire.
The fall of fire.
And in the 10th part, rapine and much oppression.
Rapine and much oppression. Well, brothers and sisters, that's exactly the next phase of where they're going. See, the people they have coming over are used to not having much, are used to getting rationed, are used to electricity rolls and having electricity for 2 or 3 hours a day. So it wouldn't be nothing for the replacements to endure third world status. That's where it's going. She said it the other day from the pulpit that they're going after supermarkets as far as doing what? Leveling off prices for everything, folks. Well, folks, that's code for bread lines. That's what it's code for. Because no one is looking at the domino effect, the negative effect of a communist legislation. A communist legislation. I'm gonna tell you, boy, they are so slick how they did this too. They are so slick. They went into an age where so many people lost jobs. So then they begin to legislate where anyone can do Uber Eats, deliver food, and do all of these things so to not have a civil unrest when people realize the job they once had before Uber and Amazon will no longer exist. So they had to transition people into extra jobs to do so that to avoid civil unrest. Well, I listened well. And when I listen well to what these politicians are saying, especially filtering what they're saying through prophecy. So what happens if they were to what? Regulate the market. Well, folks, Uber goes away. Uber Eats goes away. Because there's no products to deliver, because what? Businesses can't do business in a free market where what? Their profits are restricted. They would rather close up and go do business in Dubai or some other place that will allow them to maximize a free market. So they segue people, they pacified people with these temporal jobs. And you notice, I'm going to show you how they did it. brothers and sisters were going and doing Uber and was making hands over fist. It was like, man, I should have been doing this. And once you got stuck in those jobs, you noticed the pay out that was initially upward middle class stopped. You notice that? That the money you used to make when all this stuff first started isn't available anymore. Why? Because that particular job area has become what? Saturated with too many people. So what they're going to do, they have satisfied people with these little jobs to try to make ends meet, not telling you the rug have already been pulled up from under you. And Lord, I talked about this years ago in the Path to the Mark, that your supermarkets are going to be all computers with police. Police will be at every supermarket so to stop criminality, and you'll be able to go in and get your little ration and come out with no tellers anywhere. It'll be those who stock the shelves and police. I said that in 2008, 2009, and look at your supermarkets. You only have one or two lines where there's actually people ringing things up. So that means even those people who works in the supermarket are going to be jobless. Well, who's going to stock the shelves? Of course we know who's going to stock the shelves. The prisoners. The prisoners seize the moment where they can see the outside of that brick and mortar, of those gates. They seize the opportunity. Folks, it's a reward for them to be outside of the prison walls and see regular life, even for a moment. It'll be your prisoners stocking the shelves. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm telling you. Remember this particular lesson. You'll have the robots. You'll have surveillance. And you'll have prisoners. The new workforce. The new workforce. Elder Lawyer, let's keep on going.
Yes, sir. Verse 12.
Yes.
And in the 11th part, wickedness and unchastity.
Wickedness and unchastity. Y'all seen that part? When they closed everything down during the great international reset labeled COVID-19. Every woman everywhere with a camera and a telephone that had some level of attractiveness with them, not all, but many, even the streetwalkers, went to OnlyFans. When there's nothing left, last resort, an attractive woman has her body. Wickedness and unchastity. And then on the other side, what the internet have done to destroy relationships. I'm going to be talking about that week 7. Men no longer seek women for long-term marriage. Why? They've actually worked out the numbers and realized a marriage only lasts only a few years. And it's not, they'll lose more getting into it than if they stayed the way they are, hopping around from one woman to the next. Unchastity. The market has become so saturated, there's no incentive for a man in this current time to lock down with a woman. Because the goods that they were seeking to get, marriage was a long-term agreement to be able to get the goods, right, from a woman, and a helpmeet from the woman who had some level of allegiance to traditional family. That was the benefit for a man, to know that, okay, I got the goods locked down, but now the goods are readily available on an app. And when he gets that quick satisfaction, he feels no need to lock down full term. Unchastity. So it's not just on the woman part. The man part is saying he can get it without committing. Okay? So it leads to wickedness and unchastity. Read.
13. And in the 12th part, confusion.
What?
Confusion.
What?
Confusion.
This is the issue. This above all. What we're seeing right here is one of the greatest issues. The confusion, what?
Confusion from the mingling together of all those things aforesaid.
Now let's look at it before going back, Elder Lloyd. All of these talking points that I mentioned earlier, LGBTQ, racism, migrants, abortion, divided families, homelessness, and disease aimed towards one particular people who, for some reason, under some delusion, celebrates this particular party. All of these isms were aimed towards us to cause confusion at a time where everyone must be what? Of sound mind. So it gets you caught up into the fray of all these issues that really don't mean anything, folks, so that they can work on this side, on the outside of the confusion, to pick us off. Right? Let me give you a visual example. A visual example, real quick. A visual example. I need y'all to hear this real quick. This is fair use. 5 years ago, well, they uploaded this 5 years ago. But let me show you Michelle Obama as a guest on the Ellen Show. They uploaded this 5 years ago, an interview with Michelle Obama. Now let's illustrate this. Listen to this clearly. Fair use for educational purposes only.
So you talk about in the book also the night that gay marriage passed, and this is a great story.
Yeah. One of the interesting things, I bring it up to talk about just how vastly different one day could be in the White House during our administration. And the day that Barack and I went to the funeral where he, famously sang Amazing Grace. We were at that funeral, but we flew back, and that same day, marriage equality was passed. And that same day. And we're in the White House, and when you're in the residence, there's so much bulletproof glass that sometimes you don't hear what's going on outside.
Fair use.
And we were having dinner, and we were, listening. We knew that there was celebration happening, but we didn't realize that thousands of people were gathering in front of the White House at that time to celebrate. And my staff was calling me, and everybody was celebrating, and people were crying. And I thought, I want to be in that, Also, we had worked to make sure that the White House was lit up in the LGBT colors. So the lighthouse was.
It was so beautiful.
It was beautiful. So we had made that plan, and I was sitting and watching it on TV, and
So she said we made sure that the White House was lit up in LBGT colors. In LBGT colors. And Ellen is smiling. All right? So where are we at? Minute and 35 seconds. Let's go there. Now, I need y'all to understand. Hold on. I need y'all to understand this. We had no idea that they were tying us to this Marxist ideology. This is Marxism, folks. And I'm saying that because, folks, when we talk about LGBTQ, there are gay people who are struggling with that lifestyle who doesn't agree with LGBTQ. Okay? We're talking about Marxism, the destruction of family. Tying it in to what? Placing that on our lap when we've been suffering with enough. Why? Because this is what they're going to use as an air of confusion within our communities to destroy Jacob. This is why they were placed in the White House. It had nothing to do with the representation of a strong, black, beautiful family. Because guess what? It was those who looked like Ellen, who probably has family connected to those who've enslaved us, that would benefit to destroy those same children of slaves within the black community. But they had, this is the Trojan horse. What was the Trojan horse? Having someone come in to look like us to bring forth Marxism that will allow Esau to continue to destroy our people. But they need an air of confusion to do so. Are you following me here? Now, through that air of confusion, when something went down during COVID, how many of you knew about this particular PSA? So they had, first it started with the Marxism, and then the Marxism living within our community, Satanists, can now execute more punishment and disease and destruction on these same people.
I don't even know what to say to this.
Don't stay home. And please wear your mask.
I can't even take him serious. Let me know your thoughts.
Vaccinate, vaccinate. Pushed by Marxists. Now, when I look at this, hey, I'm not putting that stuff in me. It's against the Bible as far as I've read. But those who did it now regret their choice, for those who are still living. So the confusion is to keep the same people off kilter, totally confused, while they implement legislation to destroy the children of God. And not just Israelites, even other nations who believe in Christ. No one is putting it all together. But I tell you what, you know who put it together? The Most High, when he showed Baruch the confusion. So when you see LGBTQ, racism, migrants, abortion, divided families, homelessness, disease, understand it's part of the confusion to have us look in one way while they're destroying us. Right up under all these isms. The confusion is intentional. You got it? So here it is. You give these Marxists political protection under a label, LGBTQ, and now what happens? They come in, become your overlords, and implement everything the Satanists have prepared from one legislation, one administration to the next. They implement everything that Satan has put in place to destroy us. See? Are y'all following me? Are y'all just stick me? I'm going to show you where I'm going now. They'll always say something nice initially, and then the second administration, when they can no longer stay or conceal their true intentions, knowing that there isn't another term, at the very end, in the second term, they let you know exactly what were their plans all along. The second term, when no one can vote them out, this is when they tell you what their plans were all along. See? Let's put these people in place, give these Marxists political protection, and now we're going to roll out the next legislation, disease or whatever, to attack the same people. And it'll be this particular party focused, like the Democrats were set up to destroy God's people, period. It was set up to destroy us. There's no one in their right mind who would allow all of what we see right here to be attached to them as a race. No person in their right mind, Asian, white, or anyone else, wouldn't allow all of these to be thrown on their lap and attached to the party they are associated with. And we probably wouldn't have accepted it if we weren't confused. That's the prophecy of confusion in the book. They're throwing so many things at our people at one time, we have no idea what's going on. We don't know up from down, left from right, our head from a hole in the ground, and God said it would be exactly that. It's their job, Satan's job, to throw all these things to keep us off kilter while they pick us off. Divide and conquer from every level. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. So this is why they need us condensed predominantly on one side. Because there they can aim all their destruction towards that side. See? If a Satanist was seeking to destroy the children of Israel who believe in the Bible, what party would they join to do so? Think about it. They wouldn't join the Republicans because why? Our people aren't predominantly Republican. A matter of fact, our people fear Republicans. We say they're racist. We have a guard up against Republicans. We already are what? Skeptical concerning them. So if a Satanist is going to destroy us, like Margaret Sanger and others, they would push legislation within the party our people are concentrated in. A Satanist wouldn't be a Republican. He would come amongst us to destroy us inwardly. Let's talk about a racist. Let's talk about a what? A hood wearing grand wizard of the KKK. Would he be a Republican, or would he come in as a Democrat and become like a superintendent over your school to influence your children to destroy themselves? What would make his time efficient and more effective? See? Think about it. He would have abortion clinics that can kill off the people he hates within that community. See? This is what he would do. So let's talk about it. I'm showing you. I don't endorse the other side because guess what? If we were Republican, they would have put all that over there. Let me make it clear. And that's why you can't get into the Democrat-Republican thing. Because we were once Republican and they destroyed us on that side. So it's actually where God's people are concentrated at, regardless of party. If we were Republican, all of the people who are seeking to protect their families would go Democrat and put all of these things you see here on the Republican side. See? Because why? No one would question what they're moving from one party to the other, because we're the only party that's concentrated in one place. No one would question who's moving around. White people move from Democrat or Republican all the time. They vote for their interest. And if this party is going to close down something that's going to affect their business or raise taxes against them, they go to the other side to vote their own interests. So no one is even going to suspect or know that there's a change. But automatically, wherever we are condensed, all of these ills on this side you see here, folks, would move to wherever we are. See? So it's not about what party you're on, because it's about what our people are participating in is what they poison. They poison the well anytime we are concentrated under one thing. Under one, it doesn't matter. It can be the rap game, which was predominantly messaging amongst our people with positivity. But because all of our people began to move to the hip hop genre, they said, well, okay, let's poison that. So it's really about watching what we move, how we move, criminalize it, or use it politically to destroy us. Thank you. Sharon, you're absolutely correct. We're the target. And let's talk about this. And that's why I wanted to set the stage here with the lesson, what? Divided we fall. It's enough we trusted on the enemy who've divided us on all these particular ills and isms. It's enough we're divided politically. It's enough Satan and the governments, how they've worked to divide us. Isn't that enough divide? Why are we divided amongst ourselves? Divided we fall. Divided we fall. And I'm going to tell you, when these prophecies unfold and what? The armies are at your door and all of these things fall out, we're going to realize some of the decisions we made that would move us away from any level of protection. That the decisions we made were minute, small in the grand scheme of things. We're going to realize that argument that led me out here by myself to be destroyed could have been easily patched over to have someone to protect us, or someone who can stand with us or stand with me, who see the world as I see it, who cares about me. Why? The people that they're letting over not only have no care for us, they have resentment against us. We're going to realize the little arguments or the little discrepancies that we had. We're going to understand that we were played. That Satan played us out of position so to not have anyone to protect us or to feed us in the last day. We're going to reflect back at a time where we're going to reflect back at friendships, relationships, and going to realize we burned bridges at our own peril. Because the Satanists, folks, say anything you want about the Satanists, they are united. They are united. If our people was on code, politically and otherwise, as the LGBTQ were on code, we as a people would be well ahead of the game. And guess what? Dave Chappelle even showed that not all LGBTQ are on one page with that skit in the car, right? But they're all together against our God. And by default, against us. See? They can, even against one another, there's issues. But guess what? Those issues go out the door when it comes to having control over the finances that would help our people. They don't care what their color is. They'll jump right out of the black line altogether if it means they'll get something as LGBTQ. Huh? So in a nutshell, when you see this, folks, I'm giving y'all the political verbiage so y'all can understand what this is, all right? When you see the flag, the rainbow flag and all that, that's a flag of Marxism. It has nothing to do with sexual lifestyles. There's straight people who aren't gay that support and push LGBTQ. You got married, heterosexual, white, liberal women who support who's in the organizations with them. You have straight men who's in the organization with them. They would have us believe that it's about sexuality. No, it's about political control and divide and conquer and to stomp out anything that's traditional, God, and or family. It's an ideology. It has nothing to do with sexuality. That's the cover. That's the cover so that if anybody speak against it or come against it, they can claim that you are what? You're anti something. So that's the cover for political protection. So you can, oh, you're bullying me, you're bullying me. And then they're pushing legislation that are destroying everything, destroying our families. You'll find them at the abortion clinics and all that and realize this have nothing to do with sexuality. It has more so to do with what? Marxism. Look it up. Marxist ideology have killed tens of millions of people. Anti-family, anti-traditional, and it's aimed towards the children of Israel. Okay, it's Marxism. A lot of people don't even understand. Guess what? Kamala's father, which is East Indian. He was raised in Jamaica, but he's East Indian and Scottish. Who knew that he was a Marxist? Look him up. And even if you look at the Obamas and look at the background political persuasions that led him to the White House, raised by Marxists. Marxists cause the confusion we see in our communities while keeping other people, other communities untouched, unscathed, while our people die off. Y'all doing such a great job. Great job with the likes. Y'all doing great. But brothers and sisters, we are about 500 likes off. If you can help us out with that, I would totally appreciate it. Totally appreciate it. Okay? Elder Lawyer, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Zephaniah, the 2nd chapter. Let me get it here. Zephaniah 2. Let me grab it here. 1 second. So where are we according to prophecy? And I'm talking about this. And we're going to go all the way down to the 1st to the 10th verse. Mm-hmm. Divided we fall. What are we up against? The Bible says we wrestle not with flesh and blood. We're up against Satanists, folks. And Satanists has connected itself successfully, have like a parasite, have tied itself to the black movement since civil rights. Satanists attach themselves and use our people as a vehicle to push Marxist ideology, and this is why the families are utterly decimated in our communities, folks. This was planned. It's working out exactly how the government wanted it to work out. Let's go to Zechariah. Hold on, Zechariah, and let's start at the elder lawyer, if you will. Let's start at the first verse, 2 and 1.
Yes, sir. Zephaniah 2 and 1.
Yes, sir.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Gather together, O nation not desired. Read.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Read.
Verse 3, seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth.
It says, seek the Most High, all ye meek of the earth. There's Satanists on either side against Jacob. Against Jacob. See, I'm not going for the Republican side. Because I understand when the vaccinations, when all that stuff, warp speed, Trump was in authority. The emergency act that was signed to fast track all of those measures, whether it be what? Vaccinations and being locked in the home, folks, all of that stuff was while Trump was president. So I don't deal with the political game of hot potato. It's his fault. No, he did it or he did it. No, I understand they're playing both sides against the middle. And whichever side win, the special interests and corporations put money behind that to destroy us. They'll use our votes in order to get access to the resources. But either side, Democrat or Republican, and some of them don't like each other, but they're just fighting over the same resources of control, who will control us and or who will destroy us. And the only reason I focus on Democrats is because that's where our people are, our people are in number 80, 90 to upward 90% under one party. So that's why I focus on Democrats, because that's where the children of Israel are what? That's the area they triangulate on to destroy. We are concentrated in that particular party as sitting ducks. So I have to concentrate on that party because that's the party that have always destroyed us, hung us, destroyed our families. Okay? So make no bones about it. The Most High said that we must seek him because either side isn't for us. And our people are so naive. The same people saying, I'm going for Trump. I'm going for Trump. I'm going for Trump. 4 years ago couldn't stand him. And that's how naive and ignorant we are politically. We're easily swayed through the media. Trump can't stop what's coming. Kamala can't stop what's coming because of special interests, as well as the outside corporations who aren't American run things. And according to the prophecy, America light must dim so that all of what? All of the power goes back to the 10 horns who created her. That's the Bible. America's light must dim. And when did it dim? I'll tell you when the lights went out. When the American flag was replaced with the rainbow flag. When you light up the White House in a rainbow, that's a proclamation throughout the earth that another flag, an enemy flag, has been planted. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth. Third verse, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness.
Seek what?
Seek righteousness.
Seek righteousness.
Seek meekness.
Seek meekness.
It may be that ye shall be, or it may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
And it may be, you know what it says? It may be. Ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger, that the Most High's anger pass by you. Those who fell for the delusion during the time of confusion, going back to the pandemic, you have many people who couldn't what? Hide from the Lord's wrath and didn't make it through that particular crisis. Because falling for the confusion and the darkness proves you were never in the light. And the wrath of God fell on you. Believe in the Satanist. And it may be you shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. Because regardless of what your opinions are concerning the Bible or what have you, the Most High will be done. It's getting done whether we understand it or agree with it or not. And that's why the Most High is saying, seek ye the Lord, understand who's behind everything, who's even allowing the evil to operate before they're judged. You meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment, seek righteousness, seek the law, statutes, and commandments. Seek the traditional values. Seek Christ. And seek meekness. And meekness is what? That's the opposite of pride. Pride leads to idolatry. Seek meekness. Understand, there's so many things that are out of our control. And that without help, none of us would make it. Without spiritual intervention, a lot of this, even seeing what's coming, a lot of what's coming is beyond our control to be able to overcome it. So while there's an opportunity, it's time to lean on the Most High, to know him and to be guided by him in what? In the darkest times that are upon us. The Satanists are doubling down on what they've done against us. They sat right up there, folks. They sat right up there in Chicago that they have actually worked to destroy with the drugs and everything else. They sat right down there in Chicago in the midst of what? Chirac, that the government created as such, and didn't say one thing they're going to do for our people. Not one thing. And they're doubling down and told us, by the way, we're going to put some Marxist, communist legislation that's going to lead to supermarkets closing where you live. Smiling and all that. People cheering, all these Satanists cheering. They were smiling at the same time while not saying one thing they're going to do to our people. And by the way, we're going to really clamp down on these supermarkets price gouging. And told you right there, we are about to shut down your supermarkets. Common sense will tell you, if you price fix anything, you get rid of the free market, and their companies aren't going to stock your shelves anymore. They told you outright, hey, yeah, oh, go on, yeah, Trump is bad. Trump is bad. Oh, yeah. By the way, we're shutting down your supermarkets and stomp down on you. And guess what? And that's what your abortion clinic on wheels are for on the outside of the door. You're not going to be able to feed your children, so put them in a wood chipper. You can't feed them. Put them in a wood chipper then, because that's going to be your only answer. They smiled and celebrated the whole time telling you they're about to starve you and your family. Seek ye the Lord, and all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek what?
Seek righteousness.
Seek righteousness.
Seek meekness.
Seek meekness.
It may be that ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. And I'm going to tell you, folks, this is why I'm going to tell you, week 7, when I go into the divide between man and woman, we're going to have the discussion. Pride has separated us against one another. And guess what? Pride have worked on either side, the man's side and the woman's side, against each other. There's pride on either side, and either side isn't budging. So it comes a time when we have to humble ourselves and say, you know what? Pride got in the way. And if I have to reconcile, if I have to say I was wrong, before the jackboots come, I'll swallow my pride. Pride cometh before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall. They played either side, and they used the love of money to do it. Week 7, I'm going to talk about this, knowing that they were going to pull all the resources at the very end, where none of us have the person we love there to protect or to be protected when the jackboots come. This was a strategic plan. And it may be you shall be what?
It may be that ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
That the Most High can protect us in that day. And I'm going to tell you, like I said earlier, when the hell break loose, we're going to look around. Brothers and sisters are going to look around and going to realize there is no circle of friends. There aren't any circle of family. And they're going to be out there by themselves saying, I've been here for decades and there's no one here to fight with me or fight for me. Where's my circle of friends? Where's my family? What was life for? To have no one here at the very end of days who would vie for me, who would stand for me. What did I develop in life if at the end of it there is no friends, there is no family? There isn't a circle that I can call and trust to see what I see. And guess what? During the coronavirus, that was a wake-up call. I'm going to tell you, that was a test run, folks. That was a wake-up call for a lot of people. Because sometimes you're working every day, you're doing things to keep yourself distracted. You didn't even realize that what? You're alone. You by yourself. You haven't developed any circle that could help get you through what's about to happen. And then you start to look at all the relationships that you had in the past that could have been easily resolved where pride got in the way. Where pride stepped in. And you realize, that argument, I could have went upstairs and went to sleep. Okay? That little thing that happened, I could have forgiven that. See, when you look back at it, it doesn't sting as much. You look at it like, hold up. To be protected right now, I would have forgiven that back then. See? Let's go back. Come on, Elder Lawyer. Let's read. Let's talk about what's going on over in the Middle East now. Let's read
Yes, sir.
the fourth verse.
Yes, sir. For Gaza shall be forsaken.
For Gaza shall be forsaken. That's what you're seeing right now over in Israel and Palestine. Read.
And Ashkelon a desolation.
And Ashkelon, it will be totally desolate over there, folks. Even the Europeans who went there in the 40s aren't going to be there. The elite have already began to move themselves back over to the Ukraine, which is really a Jewish country, an Amalek country from the tribe of Amalek, who are Edomites. I'll be going into that tomorrow. And who's Esau? They're going back to Rome. They're going back to Cyprus. They're going back before the bombs come. They're going to instigate it, and only the people to be sacrificed to their God will still be within that area. And I told people a long time ago, get out of that area. I told you a long time ago. When Baruch says that he will protect those in those self-same land, he was talking about the area where Moses received the law, where the 12 pillars are. That's gated off right now. He wasn't talking about Jordan. He wasn't talking about Israel. Israel is going to become what Syria is. And Palestine, according to the Bible, will be desolate. Everything they're doing over there, whether you agree with it or not, the Palestinians can march, they can hold their flags and say, free Palestine. Palestine will not be freed. It will be desolate. Why? Because you aligned yourself, your forefathers, with Esau during the fall of our homeland. The fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD, you aligned yourself with Esau and blocked off all the areas our people were trying to escape. And our foreparents, our children were massacred and put into slavery and was made to fight in their arenas because you wouldn't let your own brothers run free out of Jerusalem. So you will not be free, Palestinians. You are complicit with Esau taking us out. And I'll tell you this, now, when you're, not that I agree with anyone getting destroyed. Who wants death? No one. But the Bible states you reap what you sow. When you see the state of Israel blocking y'all off where y'all can't get out and bombing y'all areas, how heinous that is, you understand what you did to our forefathers who are the children of Israel, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You allow us to get destroyed. So you want us to forget our history, to sympathize with the wrath, with what's going on with the wrath of God? We were always for Palestinians. You were the children of Lot. We never betrayed you. You betrayed us for Esau, and now Esau has double-crossed you. Esau double-crossed you. So you can march in America all you want. The corporations have already sold America to the different countries already. America has already been dismantled. We just haven't seen the fallout yet. So you can blame America all you want, No, you better look into that Bible and understand, and you can't find this in the Quran, to why the state of Israel is destroying the Palestinians. Don't blame America. Understand you were able to run into that land and claim to be us by double crossing your own brother. Your own brother. So don't try to say, Israel, our people need to be down with you now and align ourselves with you. We're not aligning ourselves with the state of Israel because they're Edomites. And there's a judgment coming to them. And we're not going to align ourselves with Palestinians. Okay, according to the scriptures, you have Moab and Ammon. The Jordanians are Ammonites. The Palestinians are Moabites. The children of Lot. The children of, y'all doing a great job. Hit the like button for me, please. Help us out. Go ahead, Elder Lawyer. Woe.
Yes, sir. Woe unto the inhabitants of the sea coast and the nation of the Kerethites. The word of the Lord is against you, O Canaan, the land of the Philistines. I will even destroy thee, that there shall be no inhabitant.
That there shall be no inhabitants.
And the sea coast shall be dwellings and cottages for shepherds and folds for flocks.
Come on.
And the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah.
And the coast, when it's all down, guess what? Because y'all think that these wars are going down so that Europeans can have Israel. No. The Most High have these wars falling out against these nations so that our people will get that land upon the arrival of our Savior, the King of Judah. So go ahead, have it out. Have it out. Okay? With Bennett, we're not in it. Because I see prophetically that they're just making room for us. And you know what? We're not going to have to lift one finger in war to get it. Because guess what? It tells us that the weapons of our warfare aren't carnal. We don't need to physically war against anyone. It's the spirit, it's the Most High angels who are coming in, the ministering spirits who are stirring up either side of the nations to take each other out. And the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah. Y'all making room for me, for us. And we don't have to lift a finger. See? They shall what?
They shall feed thereupon, and the houses of Ascalon shall they lie down in the evening. For the Lord their God shall visit them and turn away their captivity.
And turn away their captivity. So while the Palestinians are falling down, Israel is waking up. See? You were there when we lost our home. You were behind the carnage that happened when the Roman Empire came against the children of Judah. See? You benefited for thousands of years living in a land that didn't belong to you. So as you fall, Israel rises. See? Now, if you would have put down that Quran a long time ago and understood what this Bible said, you would understand that there's no marching, there's not any protesting that you and your family can do to ward off prophecy. Because why? It's the wrath of God that's coming down on the Palestinians, and they're not done. The Israelis aren't done. What they do is coming up to every election season, earlier, the year leading up to that election season, they begin to bomb and wipe out different parts of Palestine. Only to when they get right up near the election season to have a ceasefire for political gains. See? So they'll slow it up right before the election and say, yeah, let's have a... Now, ceasefire doesn't mean the war is done. It's enough to do what? Win political points so that right after the election, they can start bombing again. See, that's how it works. And guess what? When they bomb, all of that place becomes territory of the state of Israel, Israeli. They'll start building on it. So that means when they bomb and take something out, they already have plans on what they're going to build there. So ain't no going back. And they're going to do this until all of Palestine is leveled. See, but Esau think he's going to build, but the Most High said, you know what? He's going to throw down. Esau, you're not going to build your Roman Empire on that land. Okay? But in the meantime, we have to what? Come together and understand it's no time to be divided. The Most High is doing exactly what he said he would do against the nations who have enslaved us, who have always destroyed us. The Most High is he's doing exactly what he promised he would do to them for our sake. So again, I don't have a racist bone in my body. I don't have a problem against white people, Palestinians. If you come to Christ, guess what? You can be hid from what's about to happen too. Okay? So let's make no bones about it. I don't have no problem with any of you races of people. You got a problem with our God. You have a problem with us. So now, since everyone else can align themselves together against us, we need to talk about how we can align ourselves together to have something and someone to lean on through this trouble. Hold tight. I'll be right back with part 2. One moment. I'll be right back with part 2. Hold tight. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. Okay, thank you all for your presence. This is part 2. I'm Elder Ricard Shaw of the Gathering of Christ Church. Please help us hit the like button. And again, lesson tomorrow, week 4, Hebrew and Bible Academy. Who is Edom? And we're going to also touch on those Jesuits to have some understanding of what they are about and what's the secret oaths they have in the earth with the Vatican against God's people. All right. So a lot of people are confused out there when it comes to they want to just put everything on the Jews, and not realizing this thing is way more nuanced than that. Okay? You have some Jewish people who have no idea of the different factions that operates. They're just religiously following what they believe is cultural according to the religion their forefathers taught them. All right. So there's a lot. There's a lot of different ideologies within Judaism. You have Kabbalists. You have Jewish mysticism. You have the Franks. You have a lot of different religions within Judaism who seek to bring forth what? Evil through the dark side by doing the inverse of the laws written in the Bible. And I'm going to be talking about that too. And a lot of Jewish people aren't like this. Some of the Jewish people are going, they go to the synagogues, you know, such as how our people go to church. It's more so a traditional thing and a cultural thing for them than it is actually believing in the intricacies of Judaism. So I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. All right? Exactly. Just like those characters that we seen in Brooklyn under that tunnel. They're from a whole different faction of Judaism. Okay? And you even have Jewish people distancing themselves from that particular faction. Even though they've allowed that faction to continue to exist. And there's a reason for that. Okay? There's a reason for that. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow and who is Edom. And again, I really want to emphasize week 7's lesson when that battle between man and woman, what was in the fruit, so that all of us can understand the power struggle. Really, when it comes down to it, there's a battle between man and woman over who's going to control things. Right? And there's been a lot of gaslighting out there, and like, hold up, you just trying to control me. Like, come on now. Let's be honest. Who could be more controlling than a woman? Be honest. And it isn't malicious. Women are security driven. So the more power they have, the more comfort they have, in securing their path, in securing or protecting themselves. So it isn't malicious, but it's more so the more control, the least chance that something negative can happen. Right? But still, you try to control that. And no, women can be pretty controlling, but it's more so a security mechanism. Security mechanism. So I'm going to be going into that week 7 about what the serpent gave Eve first would lead to a power struggle. And when men seek to take back that power given to Adam, the world would claim we are attempting to control her. And also in this lesson, I'm going to also go into the gay man component and the gay woman's component. What part do they play, if any, in keeping Adam and Eve, listen to what I'm saying, from keeping Adam and Eve divided? Does the gay man or gay woman, do they have a play in keeping Adam and Eve divided? So we're going to handle all of that. We're going to handle Adam and Eve, what's in the fruit, and the gay component. What part do they play in all of this? Week 7. historytimes.org. Now, Elder Lawyer, if you will, let's now go to James 1 and 21. Someone says, I'm an academite forever. Thank you. Thank you. There's nothing like that Hebrew Bible Academy. Do us a favor and hit the like button. And yes, for you brothers and sisters who are in the academy, yes, we've fixed all of the technical issues. I apologize. We're not going to keep you up until 4 p.m. anymore. We'll be out by 3 p.m. and the lesson will be information packed tomorrow. Okay? Also, let me state this out there, that tomorrow we're going to do a drawing. These 2 books will be signed by Elder Lawyer and myself, Elder Lawyer and I, to give out in a drawing for the academy. We have a drawing, okay? I'm going to sign these 2. The Talmud Unmasked, Off the Chains. I got the hardback, but I want to throw these out there because I have the hardback. I had it come to me. So I'm going to sign these as giveaways. And Medical Apartheid. Boy, oh boy. The dark history of medical experimentation on the tribe of Judah, Black Americans, from colonial times to the present. Okay? Now, when I say the tribe of Judah, understand I'm also adding, if you want to look at North America, the Indians, because the majority of, really all of the Indians that were in America when the Mayflower came were black people. Okay? We were here. So a lot of us think that we're descendants of the slave ships, but not knowing that they threw Indians, North American Indians, Gadites, in a pool with black people after slavery was abolished. They started mixing us up so that the Europeans coming over can now get what? Get reservation territory and money given to them under the guise of becoming Indians, the $5 Indian. So in order for them to get access to those perks, they had to throw Indians, they had to throw the Gadites in with the slaves and label them black or Negro. Okay, now I'll be going into that when we go into week 5, the split between Israel and Judah. We're going to talk about that. A lot of these people are $5 Indians who own these hotels and own these casinos. They're $5 Indians. They're Europeans who came over to take full advantage of what? The reparation packages given to them by the government to undermine the children of Israel. The same thing you see today with the migrants. It's the same thing. They're incentivized to come over to undermine us. Before them, it was the Italians, the Irish, and some of the Jewish Europeans who came over. During the industrial age, they came over as gangs to undermine us and to keep us under control. Okay? They got the unions. They got all the businesses. The labor, when we were the only qualified labor coming out of slavery. So they came in and got packages to undermine us, and they just running the same thing over and over again. And that's what we're experiencing today with East Indians and Asians. Okay? Now, let's go to the book of James, Elder Lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
The book of, matter of fact, before we go there, hold on. Before we go there, let's go to Mark 13, verse 12. Let's go to the gospel real quick. Mark 13, verse 12.
St. Mark 13, verse number 12.
And what is this lesson? Divided we fall. Now Christ stated this. Let's read it. Now the brother
shall betray the brother to death.
That's the time we're living in. And you'll have these other nations stoking and instigating this infighting. Now the brother shall betray the brother to death. Read.
And the father the son.
And the father the son. Speaking of separated homes, divided homes. Christ was talking about the days we're living in now, where there'll be what? No respect for parents. Where they'll be able to indoctrinate our children to believe they know better than the parent. And guess what? Let me go back here. When you see this flag, when you see these colors, that's the engine that's pushing this in our communities. The engine. That's the engine that pushes disobedience to parents, indoctrinating children separate from their parents to believe that the children believe they know more or better than the parents. Why? Because when you deal with this particular lifestyle, it's against the traditional values of the people who brought you to this earth. It's disrespect to your father and mother, because if they decided to be this way, you would not have been born. Okay? There would be no life for you if your father and mother would have decided this lifestyle. So in of itself, the lifestyle is disobedient to parents. And they teach this same ideology to children. Disrespect. Read on.
And children shall rise up against their parents.
And children shall what?
And children shall rise up against their parents.
And that's what we're witnessing right now. There's no honor. There's no respect. There's no boundaries. That's why the other day when the brother called up, all due respect, because I know that he thought he would get a different answer with me just answering his daughter. When he told me what his daughter was questioning him about when it comes to these lessons, I'm like, where did she get the authority to question you on anything? Being your daughter. Right? And but it's not his fault. In his absence while working, you got these people indoctrinating these kids, these children, to believe they know more than their parents. Or that they have a say in which they can actually question their parents. I have grown children who know the boundaries. Okay? Who know the boundaries. Guess what? When you talk to me, I'm going to respect you, but I'm still the man. I'm still the man who wiped your behind. Okay? I'm still the man who said, okay, let go the rail and come and try to walk and I'll grab you. Come on, take a step. I'm still that guy. And I'm still the one right here with you, strong and all that, still with my hands like this saying, go ahead, I got you. No matter how grown you are, I'm still that guy when you took your first steps with two hands out saying, come on, I got you. And children should never forget that. So understand how much knowledge that have gotten you from when I first said do that to where you are, and understand that I haven't stopped growing since you have grown. Okay? I've acquired wisdom with time. So again, how dare you cross the line? How dare you? And see, and why is that so important? If you don't have respect for your parents, you cannot have respect for God. You can't have respect for him. See? You can't do it. The Bible teaches that spirit in of itself is despising authority. Despising authority. And I'll tell my son in a minute, listen, guess where you came from? Where, Dad? My loins. That's where. Okay? You didn't exist. And you're here. Okay? And make it clear. Always remember when you were to cross the line, where you came from. All right? Let's get this thing straight. So when I see that even young girls are questioning their father, like, hold up, where's that dainty submission, submissive, vulnerable girl who knew that you should never question, you should never try to rival or question a man, especially your father. So you think, yeah, that stirs me up a little bit. Let's go. But that goes into the division. Because when everything breaks down, you're not going to have being locked down. We living in the days of we living in the days of the book of Eli, the Walking Dead, and you got a malcontent child operating right up under you, trying to give their opinion, or try to feel upset when something doesn't go their way. No, you're going to fall in line. Read it.
Verse 12. Now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son.
And the father will betray his son. Read verse.
The middle of verse 12.
Yep.
And children shall rise up against their parents.
And children shall rise up against their parents. You know why? Because this generation is being raised by the malcontents, the reprobates, those who have never understood order and does what? Resent God. They're disobedient to God. So obviously, if you put them in the educational system, they're going to teach your children to be disobedient against you. Read.
And the children shall rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death.
And shall cause them to be put to death. And it's so deep. When the Marxists came out during that time, when the Marxists came out during the time of the lockdowns, you had children suggesting that their parents should go do what the television was telling them to do, not even realizing that you became an accomplice when what? When it was time to bury your parents. You didn't put two and two together. You helped put your own parents to death. And see, and that's why you must see outside of the confusion, because if that confusion board I have here, if you get caught up in this confusion here, a smokescreen that would lead to what? You making a decision that may cost your own loved ones their life. Your own, because you're not seeing things as the Most High. You don't even realize that those that are pulling the strings on TV and all that are straight Satanists. who are leading you to your own demise, and they will trigger you and deputize you against your own family. And now you say, you got to get out of here. Then you fight to get your own brother. When your brother and sister saying, don't do that, mom is okay. Well, listen, who are you? You heard, you ain't no doctor. And the next thing you know, you both are sitting there burying your parents. And then walk around what? Operating under a cognitive dissonance, really separating yourself from it so to not feel guilt. Well, it could not have been that. It couldn't have been the decision, me going and grab grandma or mom, and now I've buried them 3 weeks later. It couldn't have been that decision that triggered me. No, I can't live with that. So I'd rather believe it was something else. If you get caught up into the confusion, second Baruch, it will lead to you making a decision that will lead to one of your families dying. And why am I going this way? Because when you see betraying parents, we look at it from its simplest level. Instead of understanding the overall dynamic that leads to death. That was a perfect example, test run for the mark of the beast that happened during the pandemic. It shows you who would work for government to get their own people destroyed. The government didn't have to hire the army. The government didn't have to hire the army, folks, to get rid of so many people. They indoctrinated and scared our people into giving their own family up to be destroyed. That's why when I see this list here, LGBTQ, racism, migrants, abortion, divided families, homelessness, I understand this is a smoke cloud they use to have us engulfed in all of these ideologies, so to pick us off under Jacob's trouble. And that's the betrayal Christ is talking about. You never hand your people over to government under fear. If you're scared, go get a dog. If you want to do something and you're afraid, you'd rather take yourself out than allow your family to die through this. If you believe it, you go do it. That's betrayal. But some people, I'm going to tell you, they're so jaded, they're afraid to do it themselves. But if they can get someone else to do it with them, then if there's any fallout, at least I'm not going out alone. A coward move. A coward move who would put something on you. No, you go do it. You be the guinea pig so I can understand how this stuff shake out. In about 3 months, I'll see how your health is. And I'm putting this out there because guess what? We're under an election cycle. Excuse me. We're under an election cycle. And don't be surprised if they try to pull all that stuff out to some level again. Especially leading up, brothers and sisters, to the election. Because if you can get some crazy stuff going out there, we may have to do mail-in ballots again. See? We may have to do mail-in ballots and try to, they already have the electorates, 10 million people spread around the United States who aren't citizens who are going to vote in the election. So this is how you do it. So don't be surprised if they try to do it again. And whoever falls for it, guess what? You're falling into exactly what Christ is talking about. You're betraying your own family. Come on, other lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Go down to
13.
16, all the way to 16.
Yes, sir. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
And the Most High says, if you refuse to do any of this stuff, if you down with Christ, you're going to be hated. You're going to be hated of all men for my name's sake. So, of course, understand, folks, who hates you. You shall be hated by the Satanists or those who are controlling people. The Satanists who are controlling your family, they're not going to like you either. You shall be hated if you believe in Christ. These people are not Christian. These people right here are Satanists. They're Satanists. If you don't believe me, look at their ideology. Marxism was born out of Satanism. Look it up. It was straight Satanists looking on how to actually execute the will of their god Lucifer through the political systems. To indirectly, without Christians understanding that they were actually being targeted politically by the servants of Satan who have always opposed our God. They had to put a political system in that would have Christians die out in the earth. Why? Because those who believe in Christ are the only people spiritually who can oppose them. So Satanists came up with a political system called Marxism. And through Marxism, they would set policy that would lead to millions of people dying, including people deciding to get rid of their children before birth. How do you cut off Christians? Yeah, you cut them off like Herod tried to do Christ at birth, before they have an opportunity to breathe. Know a Satanist when you see it. Okay? He's a Satanist. Okay? Read on.
But he that shall endure unto the end.
But he that shall stick to the end and endure with the Most High. Read.
The same shall be saved.
We must endure to the end. No one is saved. When you're baptized, that puts you in the race. That puts you in the game. But no one is saved until the end. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Come on.
But when ye shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing where it ought not, let him that readeth understand. Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains.
Then let them that be in Judea flee into the mountains. So when you see the cities overran by what? Armies, like it was during the time of the Romans, know that it's time to get out of the condensed city areas. And know that they are, since the last administration came into office, they began to open up the borders to many people, knowing it would lead to terrorist activity happening here on American soil. That will be the pretext to have armies come in when they begin. Palestinians, they're going to claim some group like ISIS. They're going to name it something else. And they're going to claim this because of what's happening with the Palestinians and others, that they're blowing up stuff. And they're going to do it in strategic cities, seeking to finish the people off that the pandemic couldn't finish. Listen to what I'm saying. It's against the same people it was aimed towards. And you can't tell me that wasn't aimed towards our people. How do I know? I went into Reddit. I went into where the Amish lived. I went into red states outside of Democrat states, and these people during the pandemic was operating like nothing was happening. I went into where they lived, and they were just going about their business. They was knocking back bears. They had their flags waving. It said Trump Pence at that time. Trump Pence signs all over the place. And they were looking at me like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, y'all got a pandemic around here? Is it pandemic, huh? But then when I would go into the inner city where our people were, it was Gestapo. It was like Nazi Germany. You go into the store, they're looking at you like, hold up, back up. Back up. You got your papers? And I'm like, this is interesting. And again, I didn't wear no mask at all during that whole thing. And I didn't get any shots. And I was the healthiest person around. And I'm like, man, all they have to do is pull a lever and the people go crazy. This is crazy. It was insane to me looking at it from the outside. You can't tell me this wasn't targeting our people, only to be replaced. That's how you know that it must have been a systematic corporate rollout. Because no sooner as that was over, all the immigrants are coming in number to actually replace some of the people who are now resting in the bosom of Abraham or the other place. And it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. Y'all doing a great job with the like button. We've studied at 2,500. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you all. I really do. All right. Elder Lawyer, if you will, I need you to read the 15th and 16th verse again.
15. And let him that is on the housetop not go down into the house, neither enter therein to take anything out of his house.
There's going to come a time where people are going to have to what? Begin to migrate out of these condensed cities. Find alternatives. I told people, make sure you get your passports and make sure if you can afford, get a little plot of land on the outside of the city and make sure you have a little RV or something you can roll around with, worst case scenarios, with all emergency stuff in it, worst case scenario. And I'm going to tell you what, you get your little RV to hitch to your truck with all the emergency stuff in it, go to where you are, make sure you have communications, and then you have time to plan for the next stage in this. Okay? And what I'm telling you about is affordable, less than what you would pay for, when it comes to a car. Make sure you have your passports, make sure you have provisions, get yourself a little land with some electric is set to it, if you have to pull out until what? The smoke clear. Because usually it's chaos, and then there's a time where the smoke clears, and then you can start making moves. Okay? This is where the concept of a go bag comes in. Well, you don't have to go into the house because what? Christ showed you this moment, and you have enough where you can provide for yourself and your well-being for a few days to a month. And that same God that have guided you to that place, listening, will guide you through the Holy Spirit to the next stage in prophecy. But if you don't prepare, what's going to happen? You're going to be at the behest of the state. Because you're not going anywhere needing food. If you haven't prepared food for yourself, you're at the behest of the state to survive. And now you're under all these stringent crazy rules just to sustain your daily bread. You prepare in the time of plenteous. And no one is, let me tell you, and no one is going to be able to blame Kamala or Trump or anybody else that would have in office. Because all of those people we see, guess what? All these people here, right here, they're going to be somewhere partying and what? Feasting. They're going to be feasting. And I tell you, listen, Michelle Obama by herself is worth $70 million. 70 million. 70 by herself. So the last thing, she's not going to be experiencing anything we're experiencing. They're the Pied Pipers that will lead us to our demise. Okay? All right, Elder Lawyer, let's go.
Yes, sir. Verse 16.
Yes.
And let him that is in the field not turn back again for to take up his garment.
Come on.
17. But woe to them that are with child and to them that give suck in those days.
Woe to them that are with child and will give suck in those days. Because not only are you going to have to get yourself out of scenarios, you're going to have your children, your babies to protect. And this time, it's 70 AD all over again, but instead of a wall, they're using people. Illegals. Using illegals to cause crime, and through crime comes what? The army. Keep your eyes peeled. Keep it right on as you've been following this church for years. As it go down, keep your eyes on this particular ministry. Keep it here, I'm telling you. I'm going to tell you right now. Keep your eyes on this ministry. Because before all this stuff happened, we were on a corner saying exactly where we are right now. A lesson, the path to the mark. And everything that we drop happened and is happening what? And is hitting 1,000. It's hitting, when I say hitting 1,000, it's not one thing the Most High didn't show us back then that hasn't happened. And how we must move based on the prophecies. That's what makes this ministry so important. Because it's not just us teaching it, it's the movements we have to make while the prophecies are unfolding. Elder Lawyer, if you will, what must we put aside? What must we put aside as we come closer to this when it comes to preparing that breach between us, this divide? Because you know what's crazy, Elder Lawyer? And I thought about it. They must have done a serious job on us when, for some reason, our people trust anyone else instead of each other. That's some weird stuff. We appreciate, we respect everyone else and disrespect without appreciating each other. I be checking that out. Sometimes I look at how we interact with other people. I see how our people interact with other people and how they interact with their own people. It's weird to me. Don't tell me you can't be nice, because I see the total change up when you're speaking and interacting with everyone else outside of your own race. So what is it that happened with us that we cannot give ourselves at least that due diligence at least, where every other nation expects us to treat them better than we treat ourselves. And this is why, regardless of what's going on out there, I don't tolerate disrespect from anyone. I don't care what race you are a part of or how you look. And I'm definitely not going to tolerate disrespect from my own people. We must set a standard so to not accept it. Because I believe it's to a point where our people don't even realize they do it. They don't even realize it. I can see how I sat there and looked how someone spoke to another person, an Asian person, and how they spoke to their own family. I'm like, and I watch people, okay? I'm like, what's deep is, brothers and sisters, they don't even know. They don't know the difference between how they're interacting with either side. To them, it's just the way to interact. It's okay to disrespect your own. You're supposed to respect other people. Listen, listen, I'm equitable in judgment. It doesn't matter what race you are. Okay? If you respect me, I'm going to respect you anyway because that's the type of person I am. But you're not going to disrespect me. And I'm definitely not going to take disrespect from someone of my own ilk while you respect someone else strictly because they are another race. I'll set that straight. That ain't going to happen. And we have to get to a point not to continually accept disrespect, brothers and sisters. All right? What verse we leave off at? 16? Okay, don't worry about it. Let's go to James 1 and 21. We're going to wrap up in a moment.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the book of James 1 and 21. Let's get it here. Yes. James 1 verse 21, Elder Lawyer, if you will.
Yes, sir. James 1:21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness.
It says, wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness. Read.
And receive with meekness the engrafted word.
And receive with meekness the engrafted word.
Which is able to save your souls.
Which is able to save your souls. Read.
But be ye doers of the word.
Be ye doers of the word.
And not hearers only.
And not hearers only.
Deceiving your own selves.
Deceiving your own selves. Tricking yourself into believing, well, it's okay. Read.
23. For if any be a hearer of the word,
come on,
and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass.
He's like a person beholding his natural face in a glass. Right? It's all for nothing, because even though that's you looking in the mirror, that's a reflection. Can that thing do anything outside of you? It's really a reflection. It's nothing. So it's like one beholding himself in a glass. That reflection isn't a real person. It isn't life. Read.
Verse number 24.
Come on.
For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way.
And goeth his way.
And straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was.
And straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. Sometimes we forget the man or the woman the Most High saved us from. He saved us from ourselves. He saved us from ourselves. We forget and become ungrateful and entitled with the word to a degree. We forget not only all the blessings the Most High have given us, but we forget the person the Most High saved us from, ourselves, and become proud and ungrateful. One thing I wanted to show real quick. Real quick, Elder Lawyer. One second. I'll do Second Esdras, the second chapter, last. But let's go to Matthew 12 and 25. Matthew 12, verse 25. Let's see. Yes, that's it. One second. Matthew 12, verse 25. Let's read it.
Matthew 12:25. And YASHAYA knew their thoughts and said unto them,
And said unto them what?
Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
Every kingdom, and that's a nation also, that's divided against itself is brought to desolations. This is why the government sets institutional ills in our society that keeps us what? That keeps us divided. That keeps us divided. LGBTQ. That divides us. Because if you've been exhibiting racism, being black, it had nothing to do with your sexual persuasion. Now you have a problem against your own people because they're straight and you're gay. You've been divided instead of repenting. See that? That's how it works. A nation divided against itself cannot stand, which means the nation must stand on its national origin. With that example, before the unrepentant sexuality one have chosen as an identity. You stand with your people regardless of your sexual struggles or your spiritual struggles. You stand with your people. And repent. They've brought in all these ills to divide us while destroying God's people. A nation divided against itself cannot stand. You want to know why our people are so destroyed, so distraught? Because we can get along with everyone else except ourselves. But yet blame everyone else, the same people we respect, over our own people. We'll blame them instead of our actions, instead of our hand in the demise. It's the racist. It's the racist white man is why we're in this condition. Well, tell me why you respect that racist white man above your own people. You see the hypocrisy here? The other nations, they getting everything and they are against us. Well, why is it that I can't get no respect from my own brother or sister, but yet you'll respect them? You'll blame them for your condition, but you'll treat them better than your own brother or sister. That don't make any sense. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Read.
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
And every house divided against itself shall not stand. So the government have done everything to keep us divided. Okay, there's a problem. There's an issue with the relationship. One goes to the court. The court end up coming down on one side of the family, divided. The children now are growing with mental issues, not understanding why the two people they've grown to love are divided. And now the state will raise the mentally ill child, the broken child. A nation divided against itself cannot stand. So they set up everything they set up in our communities. Not one thing they set up was to actually help us. Everything they set up was to do what? To exacerbate the division. They'll only incentivize our destruction or division. And we don't even have enough sense to understand that we fall for the same games over and over again. And guess what? With little time left. With little time left. They incentivize themselves off of every disagreement, every divorce. They incentivize themselves off of division within the children of Israel, where we live, is lucrative for them. They'll never incentivize keeping the family together. They'll never incentivize us they'll never reward us and incentivize us for having children or keeping the family together or setting up traditional values, praying together, keeping our family together. They'll never incentivize any of that. But when it comes to us breaking up, having disagreements, fighting and killing one another, they use drugs, drug corner. Okay, let's put more guns out there. Let's put more guns out there and drugs out there. We'll give them the guns, and then we'll be on TV claiming we need a gun ban. So guns are bad when you're seeking to do one thing, but guns are good when you're able to give them to people who are divided. And that's why Christ said a nation divided against itself cannot stand. And this is why, if we don't get it together, I'm going to tell you, the children of Israel will cease. Will cease. As a matter of fact, we're already here. We've ceased from being a community, which is exactly what they wanted. They wanted us to be totally divided while the other nations come in to destroy what's left. With our people, no more community, no one to lean on, no more friends, and yet don't even have a relationship. Exactly where they wanted us. And only the Most High can help us. But I'm going to tell you, we talk about the Most High, but the Most High have done his part. He said he would begin to awaken the children of Israel, and here we are. Well, we're looking for some hocus pocus. When the Most High, when it tell you in the scriptures, faith without works are dead. What are we willing to do to seal up the breach that have divided us? There's no forgiveness. There's no love. There's no respect. And we wonder why every other people have catapulted us or just rose above us. Why? Because everyone they have coming through together are together while we stay divided. And it's because I'm going to tell you what it is. It's pride. It's pride. That's why the scriptures keep on stating, continually state, the power of meekness. The meekness. I'm going to humble myself. Okay. Because I would rather have this person in my life than to lose them over a proud moment. Over a proud moment. Listen, I'd rather lose an argument and keep a friend. I'd rather lose an argument as long as I keep a friend. And it's pride that gets in the way. And it's pride that have brought us here. A nation divided against itself cannot stand. I want to read this real quick, Elder Lawyer. Matthew 25 and 32. Christ can say it better than I can. Of course he could. The Word of God. Let's start at Matthew 25, Elder Lawyer. Let's start at 31, if you will.
Yes, sir. 31.
Let's read it.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory,
When Christ come in his glory,
and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
read.
And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
So all nations will be divided by Christ. Everyone will be placed in their rightful race or rightful nation according to their fathers. All nations will be separated. What? So that they can do their part according to what was prophesied concerning their fathers. No more confusion. This Babylonian confusion we have here. Japheth is going to be living in Japheth's land. Okay? Shem is going to be in his land. The Shemites. Ham are going to be where Ham were before this Babylonian confusion we see. Everyone is going to have their own land, and they're going to have what? Total peace and servitude to the throne. And this is for those who believe. And he's going to separate the sheep from the goat. Because what? We have what? We have wolves in sheep's clothing. We don't know the difference now. We don't know if these people that they put before us are for us or against us. Because why? Using psychology, they appear good. They speak good. But in their hearts is what? Deceit, death, evil, dissension, trouble. He shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. Read.
33. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, and the goats on the left.
Come on.
Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand.
Now that's deep, he says the goats, because a lot of these people, I'll be going into that in the academy too, about Moloch. A lot of these people worship the goat. They worship the Baphomet. They worship the Baphomet. And I'm going to tell you, their greatest weapon against our people is that our people cleave to the spirit of delusion. And we trust in oppression and operate ignorant on this earth as if they're not going to take full advantage of our ignorance. They bank on our people being ill-informed, or what they say behind closed doors, stupid. That's what they bank on. See, people like this have no power over those who believe in Christ. Because we see them coming a million miles away. We understand their God, the Baphomet. We understand they're Satanist. So they have no power over us. They can only confuse who? The delusional, the ill-informed, the unbelievers. Read on. Then shall our king come. Come on.
Yes, sir. 34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my father.
Come ye blessed of my father.
Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
Now listen to this. Listen to those whom Christ will give the kingdom. Read.
35. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat.
I was hungry, and you fed me.
I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink.
I was thirsty, and you nourished me. Come on.
I was a stranger, and ye took me in.
I didn't have a place to stay, and you looked out for me. Read.
Naked, and ye clothed me.
I had no clothes, and you gave me the clothes off of your back. Read.
I was sick, and ye visited me.
I was down bad sick, and you showed up. Come on.
I was in prison, and ye came unto me.
Christ says, I was in prison, and you came to see me. Read.
37. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink?
Come on.
When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee?
When did we ever see you like this, Christ? Read.
Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee?
Read.
And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto me, or unto one of the least of these my brethren,
as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, my people. Read.
ye have done it unto me.
You see why they want to teach us to disrespect one another? Christ is in us. And when we disrespect our own, we disrespect him. When our people are suffering and we turn our face and noses to them as if they're nobody, but yet we'll respect someone else, Christ feels that. He feels that from the throne. He feels it. So this is why they have seeded the spirit of disrespect amongst us, because what? They couldn't hurt Christ. Christ lives. Christ rose from the grave. But they can indirectly attack Christ through us and pain him by having us go against one another. And this is why we have this inherent disrespect subconsciously against one another, not realizing we were indoctrinated to have these negative sentiments, to not value ourselves as we value others. This is how they indirectly fight Christ. They make us cold, callous. They make us without heart for one another. Since they can't directly hit Christ, this is how they do it down here. As you have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren. Read.
Ye have done it unto me.
Because when you took that person in who had no place to stay, when you gave someone money or helped them out in their time of need, that was me. I felt that. I know you did that out of the kindness of your heart. I know you're looking out for my people when you don't have to. Read.
41. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand,
Then he's going to say to those on the left hand,
Depart from me, ye cursed,
you cursed.
into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels.
And this is why we have to check ourselves, brothers and sisters, when we have this negative view of our own people, not realizing that's a program. when we start listening to what other people are saying about our people and internalize that and begin to believe that our people are the enemy, not realizing if we treated that person half as good as we treated other people, that person would possibly become better and feel appreciated.
That's right.
42.
Yes, sir. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me no meat.
He says, I was hurting. There was a man I had come before you to see if you would feed him.
I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink.
There was a person I came before you, and you had what it took to look out for this person and look just like you. And you snub your nose at him. Christ said, that was me. And that's why we have to be careful not to view what's going on with the children of Israel, how the nations would have us think. Because a lot of our people are under these conditions because they have no choice but to be under these conditions. They are oppressed. And what we're witnessing is what? The end result, the consequences of oppression. We're looking at the results, the symptoms of oppression, and now because our people are oppressed, we're looking down on them.
Right.
And Christ saying, nah, you can get to these people. And it doesn't take you reading scriptures to them. You see what's going on with them. Help them. Help them. Because when you help them, you're helping me. And that in of itself begins to close the breach. Because no one else appreciate us. No one else appreciate us. And it's a shame that we even look down on one another. It's a shame. And Christ says, my reward for you is going to be based on your charity and how you love one another, regardless of what our people have done. They're still my people. They're still my people. 43.
I was a stranger, and ye took me not in, naked, and ye clothed me not, sick, and in prison, and ye visited me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee?
Come on.
Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me.
Read, because you denied my people in time of need. Read.
Ye did it not to me.
Read.
And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into eternal life.
But the righteous into eternal life. Brothers and sisters, this is how we close the breach. Just the subtle things. Someone expects us to be a certain type of way, and you do the opposite. Someone getting all out of smile. They're getting all out of the pocket. Smile. Help them anyway. Forgive our people. And have them see that they've been programmed to view their own reflection negatively. At the end of the day, folks, there's only going to be a remnant that makes it through. And these are the people that Christ is talking about who will make it. Those that are charitable. That's why a lot of us are here today. Out of nowhere, we all come from different walks of life, and we're right here, listening to the word of the Almighty, coming together with the understanding of who we are. Don't let anyone take this blessing, which is the awakening, and turn you back dark. We're going to need each other. So it's time to set our families in order, set our business aright, and do what? Close the divide. Because when it all goes down, sides, either side will be easily, clearly defined. And the relationships that we've developed amongst each other, you're going to realize it was Christ who brought a dream team at the very end together to overcome all of this. I'm going to tell you, Christ is moving all the pieces in the earth. There's going to be a remnant at the very end, like heroes, who's going to endure to gather God's people to that wilderness. And folks, we're going to get there. We're going to get there because the word of God has spoken it. With that, there's more I would like to go into, but time prohibits that. Understand who the enemies are in the earth. Don't listen to the outside noise. Television is a lie. And stand with Christ. There's enemies and Satanists on either side. But there's a narrow path that either side can't touch. A narrow path. And I thank the Most High through Christ, we're on it. I'll see you tomorrow, brothers and sisters. There's a lot I wanted to go into, but I'll pick it up next week at the Feast of Trumpets amongst the saints. Okay? When it comes to keeping this unit of truth together until Christ returns. Who is Edom tomorrow? Go to historytimes.org, brothers and sisters, historytimes.org. We have extended the enrollment week 4, and we have 2 more months after tomorrow for this Hebrew and Bible Academy, leading up to the run-in for the election. So you want to be in this academy to get the news and the lessons in this prophetic time. You don't want to miss the academy. There's nothing like it in the earth. I'll see you tomorrow, brothers and sisters, our loyal academites. I thank you all for hitting that like button, telling other people that the information, the teachings according to God's prophecies are right here with the Gathering of Christ Church. I thank you. I thank you, Elder Dell. Thank you, Elder Yara, and all the brothers and sisters who are working behind the scene to keep this work moving forward. We're the children of Israel. In the name of Christ. And we're back. I'll see you tomorrow in the academy. Go to historytimes.org and join us tomorrow. Shalom.
Shalom.
We're on our way to Zion. Thank you, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Blessings.
To Zion. I was lost, but now I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. Hear the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way to Zion, to Zion. salvation. I know